Well, Pezza, even for a test that was as on again, off again as Ross and Rachel, thank you very much, that was an extraordinary 5 days of test cricket. Has Ashwin said farewell? Is Hazelwood now at the glue factory? Has Travis Head just pulled his groin after pulling a nations for 3 tests? We're in the middle of a gripping series, Pezza. Even if it piss it down, we are revelling in the roller coaster that is test cricket. I can't believe it's still 1-1. But drinking in, everyone, because this is going all the way. We've got 2 more blockbuster tests, all thanks to Big Basket now.
There is only one tree in the world. You don't grow or die.
Christmas tree from Big Basket.
Get Santa costume also.
Yes.
Big Basket. Get Christmas trees, decorations and more in 10 minutes. Shop now.
Just straight into it, that was absolute chaos today. Australia made 86 and declared. I suppose Australia eventually got the final wicket thanks to Travis Head, one of about 4 blokes that are doing something in this test series on either side. And then we got a couple of overs and then it was just off again. So, but from start, and then we're hearing reports on social media anyway that Ashwin's retired, Travis Head's done a groin, Hazelwood's out for the series. So even though nothing happened in this game, fuck me, a lot happened in this game.
Oh, and an enormous win for everyone out there who thinks they know what's going to happen in cricket. Okay? Myself included. How many times does cricket need to teach us that even if you think you're a wizened person who's sort of been around a little bit, done a few Ks in your time in life, not only within cricket but outside, right, that you know what's going to happen in the game, it just pulls your pants down and twinges your groin and tells you you're wrong. Okay? Yeah. Because you're right, it was chaos, but I liked it, you know? I like the romance. I like the joie de vivre. Here goes, you know. I like the being prepared to lose to win mentality.
Thanks to England.
Maybe I like baseball.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe I like rain.
Right.
Maybe I like pain. Today was a great day, he goes, for people who like to say, it's a funny old game. It's a funny old game, cricket.
Exactly. And what is funny for some people is that where the fuck are we? Now, right now, we're a couple of hours away from performing our live show in Brisbane with our close personal friend and indeed friend of the show, Matthew Hayden, who is right now doing stuff with Star. So I hope we all get to the venue on time. But that's where we are right now, in the salubrious hotel, watching it piss down outside. It is very dark outside, to be fair. Anyway, I guess where to start with it is that Australia finally gets the wicket, and then it feels like there's enough time in the game. We're not sure if the rain's going to come, when it's going to come, where it's going to come from, how much it's going to come. So I suppose it felt like Australia were trying to set up the game, but at the same time, there's now sort of 4 or 5 question marks over the Australian batters, and so I don't want to get into the next thing, which is who's happy out of this game, but I just want to talk about today, like the way that like both teams were desperate to get something and just like wound each other was just extraordinary. And now like when we get these moments, like maybe Labuschagne got himself back in form from the last test match and Smith scored 100, then he gets strangled and McSweeney's trying to find his way, Usman gets a good ball from Bumrah, you know, like all of a sudden it's like all these questions are up in the air again. But the speed of which today happened, whilst also going on again, off again, in some ways exhausting, yet exhilarating.
It just goes to show, like, the weirdest shit happens in cricket when enough people in the game think that it's over. Yeah. And that includes in match-fixing situations too, which I'm not suggesting is happening here.
No.
But just to be clear.
Let's be clear.
But, like, one of the reasons today was really funny was because in Australia, and I'm saying this, I think, for people in India, but, like, in Australia, like, our doctrine of cricket is aggression, but controlled aggression. Australia is a nation where we like to think of ourselves as freewheeling larrikins, but we fucking love rules. And we love authority, and we love being told what to do, and we like signs, and we like methods.
Abiding by those rules.
That sits really demonically at the base of our kind of national soul. And so it does our cricket as well. It's why we crow's feet Bazball, because we're like... We think we're gamblers, right? But we don't truly gamble. We actually think it's weak if you get into a situation where you are gambling. Mm-hmm. Now, today was the opposite of that, right? Like, we're like, we'll gamble. We'll gamble with how much we beat you by, and how much we want to put our foot on your throat, etc.
Yes.
But today was like... What I liked about today was that it was like, maybe they'll set up a game. It's like, no, Australia won't really do that. All of a sudden, India's got Australia 5 for fucking spit. And we're like, holy shit, is Donald Robert Argus dead? Change the entire team.
Yeah.
Next minute, like, Head starts playing him off his cock.
Yeah.
legitimately couldn't run
literally.
on it. And Mitch Marsh is out at 4.
Right.
And Cummins comes in and hits 22 off 10. And so now it's we were doing this all along, 7 for 89.
Oh, do you think we were cooked?
Yeah, we
okay,
were pushing the game forward.
Says a lot about you thinking
exactly.
that. Yeah.
As innovative, calculating, strategic, gambling buccaneers.
Right, exactly.
Which we've always been.
Yeah.
Right, and
Yeah.
so all of a sudden, you can Cummins is so good. He can actually play politics with the team being shit.
Brilliant.
He's actually saved the team being shit with political nous.
Exactly.
Like if this cunt isn't the fucking president of the Republic of Australia and takes Australia to a republic, I'm not here.
Yeah.
Because he has done everything in this game to save the asses of 3/4 of the team who are fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically,
Yeah.
with respect, and they've done a lot. And I enjoyed that because it's very. We're not used to that in Australia. 7 for 89. What's that? When you look at it in the in the papers the next day with initials and stuff,
Right.
it looks like Australia has kind of deliberately thrown the bat to make those runs in this beautiful cavalier, maverick, debonair, entertaining, thoughts for the masses way set up the game. I'm kind of looking at it going that was a naughty old new ball wicket. I know guys are throwing the bat at it. Marsh is out of 4, and so we were more than most times, we were completely befuddled by the rhythms of the game.
Yeah.
It's just not. Australia likes to do control. Australia is missionary.
Yeah, totally.
We've said that so many times.
Yes,
But
yes.
and then it's just rain just won. That's it, just rain.
We absolutely love convention in this country,
Yeah.
right? And the idea that you can park your car, but it might take 45 minutes to read the parking signs, letting you know if you can park in these specific 15 minutes is something that we get off on. So if a police officer is nice to you, we're sort of a bit like,
Yeah.
what's going on here?
Yeah.
What are you playing at? You know, funky fields. That's not what we play. We just go straight, hard, front foot, chest out cricket. That's what we
Missionary.
like. So Mitch Marsh being sort of funky at 4, and 89 for 7 or whatever it was, is a bit like.
What is it? And anyone with any courage at the time has to decide, is this good?
Yeah.
And at the time when Australia declares, I'm thinking this is good.
Yeah.
But I'm absolutely reserving fucking 25,000 bombs in the old arsenal if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
I couldn't see most of the screen through my fingers.
Exactly. It was with that innings from Australia, it was did India inflict scars?
Right.
Or was Australia playing camping style, aka intent?
Nice. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We're warming up for tonight.
Warming up for tonight.
Right.
So
Yeah.
sentiment at the declaration. This is fucking awesome.
Right.
Sentiment if India pulls it off.
Yeah.
That's a fucking debacle.
Yeah.
And I just hand it to Australia for and Cummins for kind of making it look like we're in control of that somehow.
The amount of pressure on Mitch Stark to take a wicket first or second ball in the series now is
You got to get drives on the first 2. We always said that.
KL Rahul played it on drive.
Yeah.
It was pissing down, and I was like, fucking hell.
Why did it feel
hell.
like it's 5 for 20? And then when Jaiswal just fucking boshes Mitch Stark down the ground, I'm like, this deck's going to flatten out there,
God,
isn't it?
yeah.
This deck's going to flatten out in the last session of day 5 at the Gabba with divots.
Yeah.
And it's been raining for 5 days.
The rain just sort of makes it skid on a little bit. Slides onto the bat,
Because it's not like India to sort of go, have we got the chance to do something extraordinary in Brisbane? It was just bad juju, which is a phrase.
Yeah, that's
it's a
right.
phrase.
Okay, let's talk in this moment now about Travis Head might be injured.
He says he's good. I've seen the quotes. He's like,
I've had enough, Pezza.
Yeah, I've
Next,
had enough.
next.
And also, it's the lid. If the lid says he's good, he goes, I'm sore. Look, he goes, I'll be honest, I'm not 100% fit, but I'll be fine.
Get some WD-40 on the cunt.
Exactly.
All right. Okay, well, let's move on to the next thing then, which is who's happy out of this? Because, Jesus Christ, Australia battered India for most of the game, but then in the last the last, I guess, 3-4 hours of cricket that's been played, basically since Jadeja came in, India's been the better side, basically. Now, there are reasons for that. You would, if you were giving excuses to the Australian side, they were playing with 3 bowlers. Indian fans would say, to be fair, we'd be playing with 1 bowler, which is entirely fair, I think. But just the way that fourth innings has gone, plus with the partnership and the celebration last night of passing the follow on, then the last pair put on 50, and there's overs in the legs. Travis Head's got a groin, he's going to be fine. Okay, I'll definitely believe that.
That'll be right.
It'll be right as rain. How does it feel like India's somehow come away with momentum despite winning the toss, letting Australia get 400 on a probably a 180 deck, finding themselves in all sorts of trouble with the bat, getting past the follow on, and like they've actually like wrestled momentum despite being poor for most of the game. So who's happy out of this?
Well, firstly, nobody's happy because happiness is a trap. It's a temporary emotion, not a state of being. All right.
I forget about that.
I don't know, mate. Like, Bradman failed more than half the time. In this series, there's about 3 guys doing good stuff on both sides, like Max.
Right.
And the rest are fucked.
Yeah.
And people rise and people fall in this game, but when it's a draw, the truth is that it hasn't damaged things or benefited things enough to change the result. So the next week is just going to be spin. As in the TV show with Finchy and Hodge.
Well, they match
no, but it will.
together.
The next week is going to be like Australia saying, well, we were on top for most of the game. Got a bit chaotic at the end when we didn't get that last wicket. Credit to India for that. Gabba a bit all over the shop. We were dealing with injuries. You know, we're actually really happy with where we're at. Cummins is bowling well. Stark's bowling well. We've got, you know, Rohit, question over Rohit, you know, etc.
And none of those things are wrong, by the way.
No, it's just, but it's accentuating the positive, right? It's
and
just
perception.
That's right. That's just campaigning, and India will do the same thing. India will just be like, well, I don't know. Akash Deep had fucking a sleep mask on and he bashed Cummins over sacred cow. You know, when the light was no good. So how good are we going? You know, like, so it's going to be hard to say. You know, so if you put forward the bear case for both sides, because you're not going to hear that from either. Yeah. It's like with Australia, it's like they are fingers in the dike stuff right now. You hear what I said? Yeah. They're like they couldn't get any help from Mitch Marsh, the all-rounder, when the old quick went down. Yeah. And that's because Mitch Marsh is too old. Yeah. The reason why Mitch Marsh is in the side, so I'd say too old, his body's no good, his body's old. The reason why he's in the side as a number 6 batter is to cover the top 4 who also can't score runs, 2 of whom are also quite old. Like, there's just like the team is creaking. You know, you can see it everywhere, right? That's the you know, the bear case for Australia. But as we said yesterday, you know, they double down on experience and loyalty and togetherness. And apart injuries aside, there won't be any changes going into Boxing Day. No one's losing their spot. They're not making any change on account of tactics. And for India, Rohit looks nowhere and has been for a long time. It's bad feng shui with him at 6 anyway.
He averages 11 these last 10 tests.
Kohli's been struggling when the bowling's good, and Bumrah's got no support. You know, so like it's. You know, like
it's two garbage teams going.
It's not garbage. It's just like both teams are being carried by like 2 or 3 really strong performers, right? With India, it's like KL Rahul at the top, Jasprit Bumrah with the ball, and with Australia, it's like Travis Head with the bat. Carey's been good, some support sometimes, and then the quicks, you know, one of whom's got injured. So like, 5-test series. There's going to be so many more stories in this. We're only halfway through, or a bit more.
There has never been a bowler that Australia's ever had that has gone to India with the same efficacy, as in literally keeping Australia in the series with his bowling in India, right? Does that have I made my point there? Like Australia's never produced a cricketer that can bowl as well as what Bumrah has in Australia, right? Yeah. Because, I mean, he is quite clearly the difference in like levelling the sides right now. I mean, the fear factor he has. Anyway, we've sucked him off enough. Let's get into the Big Basket Now intense segment. Big Basket Now is getting behind TGC, has done right through the IPL, has right through the Border Gavaskar Trophy. You can get Christmas trees, stars, decor, cookies and plum cakes, electronics, which is how I say electronics, toys, and a whole other range of
gifts. Is there plum cakes in there? Did you just say that?
Yeah, I said plum cakes. Yeah,
good.
Yeah, and you can get that delivered to your door in 10 minutes or less, thanks to Big Basket Now. So just want to thank Big Basket Now for getting behind TGC, so you can get behind Big Basket Now if it's available in your country.
That's the way it works, symbiotically.
It all starts with a big heart, Pezza. Okay, well, speaking of chatter on the internet now,
it's confirmed.
It's
Do you
confirmed.
Want me to come on the top? I got the news. Ashwin's retired. It's been announced. He's spoken at the press conference. He has played his last game of international cricket. He's over. He's retired from all international cricket, effective immediately.
Let's get into the show tonight.
Maybe there's a couple of texts out there on one side, but so it's time to laud the man. It's time to laud Ashwin. I think I guess from a news perspective, you wonder why he retires now. I suspect that and I suspect it's true, but he might be doing a thoughtful, considerate thing in terms of taking himself out of contention for selection to make it easier for the team, right? Because I would have thought he would have been a great shout to play at least in Sydney, but if not Melbourne as well. But he's removed himself from that, so I'm going to take the optimist's view, or the altruistic view that he's done that for the team. So he's taken 537 test wickets. He's next only to Anil Kumble's tally of 619 when it comes to India. Wow. This was his quote from the presser. He says, "I don't want to make it about myself. This is my last day as an international cricketer. I've created a lot of memories. We're the last bunch of OGs in the dressing room. I have a lot of people to thank. BCCI, my fellow teammates, all the coaches. This will be my last day as an India international cricketer. I will play club cricket. I had a lot of fun." He's inarguably one of the greatest spinners in the history of the game.
Yeah.
He played 106 tests, 116 ODIs, 65 T20Is for India, took 775 wickets across all formats. In tests, his wickets came at an average of 24 and a strike rate of 50.7. He has 37 5-wicket hauls. He's the seventh highest wicket taker in tests of all time, and he's currently the highest taking bowler among off spinners in tests.
Must have been something in the waters yesterday, because I alluded to how annoying the runs were with Jadeja and Ashwin, and when they retire, it's going to be hard to replace.
Sorry, it's going to be ha. Sorry,
yeah.
Stutter. I mean, what about when you read that out? That's extraordinary. I mean, he's an all-time great in the game.
He's certainly an all-timer.
He's a Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Famer.
I saw some reaction on social, which was, obviously so much appreciation from Indian fans, what he's done for cricket in the country, obviously representing India. And there was so much sadness that he didn't get to retire in front of his home fans, just in India, because, I mean, he is so lethal with bat and ball in India and Indian conditions. And then, last time he came to Australia, he sort of figured out Australian conditions. He did over Steve Smith a number of times, including here at the Gabba 4 years ago, whenever that was, 3 or 4 years ago. And what can you say? I mean, with a guy that has just absolutely terrorised every single nation he's ever come up against. It's mystery spin, it's carom balls, it's through the air.
It's all formats. It's wile and guile on top of the mystery. Technically it's beautiful out of the hand, but the intelligence to go with it, particularly as his career went on, he was an absolute nightmare to watch if you supporting other team, which I tend to do, except when I was behind Delhi Capitals.
That's right, yeah. Or Rajasthan, I think you played for.
Or
whatever. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. A touching tribute to Ashwin. a touching tribute. Yeah, I mean, yesterday we spoke about how annoying it is when, Jadeja comes in. I mean, anytime Jadeja or Ashwin, their records and what they've done to teams, just pulling India into contests and then actually pulling away from teams as well, with the bat especially. I mean, their record with the ball is just extraordinary. But he's also started the conversation, Ashwin, with the, run out the non-strikers end. He's definitely been influential in that. He actually genuinely has changed the game with that conversation. That's no word of a lie.
He's a custodian of the game. He thinks deeply about it. He cares about it. He's innovative in the way he speaks. He's definitely polemic, and that is that's a prerequisite for someone who wants to be compelling when talking about the game. He's obviously very strident in his views about things. He's going to make an incredible contribution to cricket, I think, post-career as well.
On YouTube.
Well, that's the place you do it, apparently. Sort of been telling my wife anyway.
That's how we did it.
Got to do with our US tax, though. But
a couple of club cricketers changing the game
that's
on
right.
YouTube.
Well, I mean, once again, I have to say, Luke Drive on TGC in his presser there, he says he's retired from cricket, but he's playing club cricket.
Yeah,
well, what is club cricket then?
Yeah, come on.
Are you saying it's not real cricket? We are.
He's going to get $1 a run in the IPL.
Yeah. So, interestingly, as we're just reacting to this news, it is hot off the press. Look, it occurs to me that Ashwin's returns had been dwindling for a little while,
yes.
only subtly, and it's always hard to figure that out in this current global context where there is such a such distance and difference between pitches globally. So were poor returns from Ashwin a function of strange decks or whatnot? But where off the top of my head I'm admiring him is that he's one of the first of his generation, I think, to sort of call it quits himself. It seems. I don't know if he was tapped on the shoulder. There's a lot of incentive for guys to carry on, and we know in India that a lot of players have a lot of power, around that kind of stuff. Right. So he might be trailblazing a little bit there without knowing the ins and outs of how it happened. But given the Zapruder footage of him giving Virat Kohli a hug that seems to have come up on social media. Now, again, they could have just been talking about a roast they had a couple of years ago.
Virat was cold.
Remember that? Anyway,
roast. Fucking hell.
Sorry, it's because it's too earnest.
Yeah, it's one for the Aussie fans, that one. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, remember Gordy was hiding in the cupboard? No. It would appear as though it was a recently made decision. So hats off and pants off to him.
Yeah, I think because he was asked to do covers during this test match. He thought, fuck this, I'm out of here.
Fucking out of here.
Get me out of here.
I'd be retiring after this fucking test match too, mate, on and off.
Mate, what about for an international bowler just coming up against Ashwin? Sorry, for an international cricketer. Yeah, sorry, what am I trying to say? Like, watching your team play against Ashwin, how many times... And I say this from like New Zealand perspective fans, Aussie fans, English fans. Like, how many times when Ashwin comes on, you're watching every ball with fucking through your fingers, like head in your hands. It's like, no one knows which way it's spinning. It's so quick into the deck. They obviously made those decks for Jadeja and Ashwin. He was so effective, and he and Jadeja have won so many games at home for India. Their record of not losing at home for like 10 years is nearly exclusively down to the decks that they prepared for those cricketers with bat and ball. That's just an opinion, but like Just a magnificent cricketer, and I've got to say, as an Australian fan, thank fuck it's over. thank fuck it's over. Now I'm sure they'll never produce another amazing mystery spinner. Moving to the last thing, Pezza. Moving on to Melbourne. Now, I mentioned earlier about like who was hindered by this game, and like Khawaja made comments a couple of days ago about wanting to play until the Ashes next year, and there's also just conversations about how long can the old guys hang on for. Now, Khawaja, he needs a performance, I reckon. And that's probably not being too controversial, because basically Sam Constance is doing great things. Even in the Big Bash last night, scoring a 20-ball 50, youngest player to do so. I know it's the Big Bash, I know, but it's on the back of like great performances for Australia,
totally.
New South Wales.
No, it makes complete sense.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, but can you imagine being Usman Khawaja? With everything in his life that he's gone through as a cricketer, and what he's fucking facing right now, and someone comes in and goes like, "Hey, slamming Sammy Constance it hit a 20-ball 50 against the Strikers.
Blacktown
down
last
there
night.
Oh, mate, rush him in.
Oh, fuck it, hell, yeah.
I get it. There's more nuance than that.
Totally right. But, there's just been like... When I look at Khawaja, like with the drop catches, like the eyes are fading, and he's got a couple of test matches. I don't think he's not going to get dropped for Boxing Day, because also I said this test match that his contribution is important in this series, where like he is actually literally just getting through that new ball with Bumrah, who, as I said earlier, I think is like the difference between Australia blowing away India in this series so far and it being 1-1 heading into Boxing Day. So like Usman's contribution is not through runs just yet, but he is actually taking time out of the game. You're going to want more out of an international opening batter, of course you are, but fuck me, it looks hard on these decks against Jasprit. So, but I reckon like how long can the old guys hang on for? Because you're so right. It's fingers in the Virgil van Dijk. It's a leaky boat. There's injuries everywhere. The team Boland's obviously coming for Hazelwood. Bo Webster's in the squad.
They're hanging on. They're hanging on.
They are hanging on. And like Australia should have won this game. Australia could have won this game, right? And I can see some changes real soon, but Australia's method has been loyalty for a long time.
Absolutely, and they'll stick with that. You know, they will, and they'll stick it to the end. And ultimately, I think there'll be guys in the team who would love nothing more than to win the series for Australia, for those older guys who are struggling. You know, because if they win the series, the ends justify the means. Now, like if you zoom out, the bigger questions are, to what level of agency do the older guys have in determining their future? Mm-hmm. Do they get to decide? We've already been through the rigmarole, the Dave Warner question on this kind of stuff. How much capital do a lot of these guys have to say, I'd like to hang them up at the SCG against England?
Yes.
I'd like to book myself. I'd like to book, if possible, another, if there's a World Test Championship final, big if, right? So what? 1, 2, Sri Lanka 2,
West
Windies,
Indies.
what? Is that the 3?
2.
They're doing 3.
Oh, is it 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 7, World Test Championship final, 8, and then England 5. I'd like to book myself in another 13 tests.
Are you guys taking bookings right now?
I mean, really, like, in my view, yes, credit in the bank is something that happens, right? It's a phenomenon, with good reason. You know, like you ride along with, but you ride the lows of people because they pay you back, right? But it is rational.
Yes.
That said, you never prove yourself in any game of cricket. Like you can't ride off stuff for a really long time. I think that in any series, top order players have to produce, you know, and he hasn't yet, and he'll know that, and he's got to. But like, you're right. The caveats are, I think they'll assess that they're playing against one of the greatest bowlers of all time. Usman said to us himself, and I believe all the batters are of this view too, that like batting's never been harder in Australia, and that you could probably say in 2 out of 3 tests, the plan of facing 50 balls each, which the top 4 have basically done the last couple of tests, has produced results.
Yes.
So I would actually love a stat. I would love like a Rick Finlay style, Cricket Info style stat of like averages for all test players, top 4 test players in Australia last 3 or 4 years, both countries. I would love to know where that's sitting at.
Well, I was talking about Warner's contribution with hundreds, and like he scored like 95% of the hundreds in Australia in the last like 10 years or something like that. I should have got that right, but anyway, he scored a shitload of those runs. So you know, once again, Australia misses Warner after he's retired. But you know, I guess Mick Sweeney the other end hasn't done heaps. But Usman's got now a collection of missing out in New Zealand as well. Last summer didn't score 100. It's just getting to a point now where in Sri Lanka he might not even open the batting. Maybe he will, but they'll probably open with like Head, for instance, as they've done previously, or Maxwell, or whatever.
A guy's announcing their retirements for the SCG. You know, if they beat India on Boxing Day, especially, are they saying this is it? Yeah. You know, I'm like. I mean, we'll see. It's gonna add to the just the pageantry of the series generally. And you know, I mean, look at India. They've just had a retiree mid-series, and there's a couple of others who you know could be doing that too. Maybe fucking 10 of them will go. Maybe. I mean, I know like this game's been weird, but it's still just like it was still a thrilling game somehow in the middle of a thrilling series. Even there's been a washout draw and 2 pumpings either side. Somehow still a great series. All right, AskTGC. Shy Boy from Annandale. What was that? Good point. Paypig 1002 said Sam Constas highlights. Where is? Didn't realise bush horses had to be put down. Also. Pez's favourite Jasmine Scent said not raining in Sydney this Arvo. It's a bit of good news. It's going to rain 2 weeks, so it doesn't apparently
really
the next 5 days in Brisbane are sunshine.
Which
is why I've always said you need to play the test on the 18th of December.
Well, I'll tell you what, Pez, it's going to be steamy in the Tivoli tonight. Especially when Big Dust rolls in. Yeah, exactly, what are we talking now? VR says, who's winning? Suey said, Bush Horse, Newcastle, where get? Nah, I'm sorry, Bush Horse is done for the series. Bit of a shame. 1-1 going to the away leg. Fuck me.
That's right. Away goals too.
They've actually done us on away goals. India, fuck.
I mean that is true. They've got the away goal advantage.
That's true. Michael Vaughan's combined Nash's 11 would have won inside 3 days. Good point. Can I kiss Hetty's groin better? Yes, definitely.
I think so.
What is that? What was that? Ravi Ashwin running from the grind. More excellent contributions here from the Pay Pigs.
Yeah.
What am I talking about here?
Every time you hear Higo say he's scrolling past illegal things to say.
How are you, plum cake? Said Siamese Kadich. Too slosh to care. Yeah, good stuff. Well, that's definitely good sentiment there from everyone in the Pay Pig segment. So we'll live to fight another day, Pezza. 1-1 heading into Boxing Day. We're just in Brisbane for the day today, doing the live show tonight. Can't wait to see everyone who's coming, all 800 of the people that are coming here to Melbourne tonight. Really looking forward to that. And tomorrow night, Pezza, we'll be on Channel 7. We're on 7 Plus for alternate commentary with Purple against Red in the prestigious...
We're on 7 Plus for commentary, and you can go to Channel 7 for the alternate.
Yeah,
with
that's
Finchie
right.
and-
So that is happening tomorrow. So please do join us in any one of those formats live right now in my hotel room on alternate comms.
In our hotel room.
Yeah.
I get to do this and you don't.
I'm Bert. He's Ernie. We'll see you guys in the internet real soon. Cheers.